I do this every day in geometry.
Okay, so we're going to start with chapter 12.1 worksheet, which is titled
Trigonometry ratios.
And we're going to, lesson 12.1, trigonometric ratios, and we're going to just work our way through all 4 of the worksheets. They're on my desk there, Erica, Stacia, if anyone. That I left for you guys on Friday and Monday when I was gone. I apologize that I have to be gone again today, but I have a golf match down in La Center. I'm on my way to La Center right now as you guys are listening to this video tape or whatever, but I'll be back tomorrow and we'll restart from there, okay? All right, so this is just a review of the thing that we did at the very beginning. To be able to do these, all you have to do is remember SOHCAHTOA. So sine is opposite over hypotenuse, cosine is adjacent over hypotenuse, and tangent is opposite over adjacent. So if they want to know the sine of P, P is right here, so that's going to be the side that's opposite of P, which is little p, divided by the side that, or the hypotenuse, which is r. Yep. So sine of P is going to be P over r. Okay. Cosine of P, I guess we're still looking at angle P. Cosine of P is the adjacent side, which is adjacent is Q, because that's the one that's next to the angle right here, divided by the hypotenuse, which is still R. You are really striking out for...
two for 4.
Yeah, that's bad. And then if I want to figure out the tangent of P, that's the opposite side divided by the adjacent side. So the opposite side is P, and the adjacent side is
Q.
Okay? And then for the last one, we need to switch the angle that we're looking at. Now we're looking at angle Q. And so that is opposite side over the hypotenuse. So what is opposite angle Q?
Q over R.
Right. Opposite of angle Q is side Q, this side over here. And then the hypotenuse is R. Okay? So again, like I said, that's just a review of the SOHCAHTOA. All right? Okay, next questions. It says, now we actually want a decimal answer here, but we're still using the same idea. So we're going to start out by trying to figure out what the sine of t is, but if you're trying to figure out the sine of t, sine is opposite, which is 8, divided by hypotenuse, which
you don't know.
We don't know.
Oh, you have to do the squared.
Right, we have to do the Pythagorean theorem to figure this out. So I have to go 6 squared plus 8 squared equals the hypotenuse squared. So 6 squared is 36. 8 squared is 64. 36 plus 64 is 100. So if 8 squared equals 100, then h must equal 10. All right, so now we can figure out the sine of t. It's the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse. So 8 divided by 10 is 0.8. And I'm going to write it as a decimal because it said so. Okay, now I need to figure out the cosine of that angle, which is the adjacent side. Yes?
Is that all you do? You put 0.8?
Yep, that's all you do, 0.8.
Oh my God.
Okay, cosine of t is the adjacent side divided by the hypotenuse. What side is adjacent to angle t?
10.
Adjacent to angle t, yes, would be 6.
Come on.
Okay, and the hypotenuse is still
Why is it that?
10.
10.
Why is that one?
So 6 divided by 10 is
Because
0.6.
it's a right angle.
Yeah, it's the angle, it's the side that is next to this angle right here. Okay, so your 2 options for adjacent side are this side right here or this side right here, but this one is the hypotenuse because it's
So you have to find the right
across from
angle first, and okay.
Yeah, and then the one that's in between the angle and the right angle is the adjacent side.
Come on,
All
that's
right.
it.
Okay, so now we need to do the tangent of t. So again, if I look at my cheat sheet right here, that's opposite over adjacent. So what side is opposite angle t?
8 over 6.
Right, so that's going to be 8 over 6. And again, they want it to a few decimal places. 8 divided by 6 is 1.3 repeating. So I guess they want 1.333. They want 3 decimals. And then now we're switching angles entirely. So now we're going to find the sine of r. Sine is opposite over hypotenuse, so the opposite side is 6. The hypotenuse is 10. 6 divided by 10 is 0.6. Okay? Okay, so now what do we got? All right, now they're giving us a deal where we have to solve for a variable. And so the only thing you have to figure out here is, do I multiply or do I divide? And so if I'm trying to solve for x right here, since the 28 is on the bottom, I'm going to multiply both sides by 28 to get rid of that 28, so the 28's cancel. And then x is going to equal 28 times the cosine of 64. And so this is a calculator problem.
Do it.
So I just type in 28 times cosine of 64, and I get about 12.27. They want 2 decimals, so I'm going to go 12.27
I
for
got that one right.
Okay? Okay, number 10 is a little bit different now because the x is on the bottom. And so one easy way to think about this is turn it into a proportion. So I would cross multiply the two numbers that I know. So 1 times 12.1 is obviously 12.1. And then to figure out x, I need to divide that by sine of 24. So I'm going to go this time 12.1 divided by the sine of 24. And that gives me, they want to go 2 decimals, so 29.75.
I rounded to
What do you
the.
round to?
I don't know why, but I put 0.8.
Okay, you put 0.8 because you're lazy, and it says to round to the nearest hundredth, so you have to go 2 decimals, okay? So for number 11, based on what we just did, to figure out x, do I multiply or do I divide?
Multiply.
Multiply, because the variable is on top, so I'm going to multiply both sides by 14.8, so that the 14.8's cancel. And then this again is a calculator problem. I need to go 14.8 times the tangent of 51, and that's going to be 8.28 if I round that to the nearest hundredth.
I get how to do this stuff. I just don't get how to do.
Okay, so let's see. Now, all right. So now this is where they give us the sine or the cosine of the tangent, and then we have to figure out the angle. So what do you have to do if you're trying to figure out the angle? How's it different? Right, you got to negative it. So I have to go to find a. I have to go sine inverse of 0.9455, and now they want this to the nearest degree, 0.9455. So I'm going to go second sine
455.
455. Okay, and to the nearest degree, that is going to be 71 degrees. So remember, anytime you're trying to find the angle, you have to go second sine or second cosine, or for the next one, second tangent. So I'm going to go second tangent of 4/3, which is just 4 divided by 3, and then round that to the nearest degree, so that is 53 degrees for angle B.
Wait, how'd you do that?
Second tangent of 4 divided by 3.
Okay.
And then for cosine 0.8660, so I need to go second cosine of 0.8660. So the nearest degree, that would be 30 degrees.
I don't like this. Just eat it.
Okay?
These buttons.
All right, so now we need to put that all together to find a missing side here. So for number 15, since I'm trying to find W, and I have this angle right here, W is what side relative to that angle?
Opposite.
Opposite. What's the 28?
Hypotenuse.
Hypotenuse. So which one uses opposite and hypotenuse?
10.
Sine, good. So I'm going to go sine of 40 equals the opposite side, which is W divided by the hypotenuse, which is 28. Since the variable's on top, what do I have to do to solve that?
Cross multiply.
Multiply.
No, multiply. Yeah, I'm going to multiply to get rid of the 28. So I'm going to multiply both sides by 28. One of you guys have a calculator?
0.46, so 0.47.
No, I don't think so.
And just multiply 28.
Yeah.
28 times the sine of 40. 18. Nearest point 1. Okay, let's just go with 18.9 and call it good enough. Forrest, are you in radians instead of degrees? Hit your mode button.
28 times the sine of 40. Okay, I got 17.9. I just typed that.
Oh, 17.9? Oh, okay. So just, we'll go with 18. All right? Okay, so to find x, again, I have to focus in on this angle right here. What two sides do I know?
The
I
adjacent.
know the adjacent and I know the opposite, so I'm going to use tangent. So the tangent of 28 is the opposite side, which is x, divided by the adjacent side, which is 14. So to figure out what the tangent of 28 is, do I multiply or divide?
Multiply.
Multiply, because the variable is on top. So 14 times the tangent of 28 is 7.4. Okay, works for me. And then finally, number 17, I have that 17-degree angle right there. What are the two sides that I know or want to know for that one?
Same thing.
Same thing? I don't think so.
Hypotenuse
I know
and
I want to find the hypotenuse right there.
opposite.
And I know this side is not opposite. That's 8, yeah. So I'm going to use cosine of 17 degrees is equal to the adjacent side, which is 73, divided by the hypotenuse, which is y. And now, since the variable is on the bottom, to figure out what y equals, I have to go 73 divided by the cosine of 17 degrees, which is y.
Oh, variable.
76.3. Okay? All right, is that the last problem on that worksheet?
No, 18, 19, 20.
Oh, we're still rolling here, huh? All right, so now we have these little geometric pictures and we've got to find the missing things. So same deal, we're just using right angles. The question you might ask is, how do we know that that right there is a right angle? Does anybody know?
Because it's a circle.
It's an inscribed angle in a, bless you, semicircle, okay? So since this is 180 degrees and an inscribed angle is half of that, that means that has to be 90 degrees, okay? So I'm trying to find this angle right here. What are these two sides relative to that angle?
Opposite and adjacent.
Opposite and adjacent, so I'm going to use tangent. So the tangent of A is equal to the opposite side, which is
26.
opposite
14.
divided by the adjacent side, which is 26. But now since I want to find the angle, I have to go the inverse tangent. So A is going to be the inverse tangent of 14 divided by 26, which is 28 degrees. Okay, and there's the nearest degree, so we'll go with 28. Okay?
Wait, okay.
Waiting. All right, now we're trying to find T, and then obviously this is what kind of shape?
Square.
A square or a rectangle or something, but the main thing is we know if that's 11, then this is also going to be 11 inches down there. So if I want to find T, what sides do I know relative to T?
The adjacent.
Not know the adjacent, you keep saying adjacent, but this is the adjacent side. This is
Is it
totally
really?
opposite. And then I also know the hypotenuse, so sine. So the sine of T is 11 over 15.
But in my thing it says the bottom one's adjacent.
Well, maybe that's why I keep getting it wrong.
On 11.
47 degrees.
Oh, are you thinking of this side right here?
And the
being
bottom one,
adjacent?
yeah.
Right, but this side right here isn't adjacent to this angle because this side is adjacent to that angle right there. But I don't know what that angle is. Okay, so I'm going to move this 11 down to here and then it becomes the opposite side. So T is going to be the inverse side, or inverse sine of 11 divided by 15, which is what?
47.
47 degrees. Okay, and then last one for Z. Okay, if this is an isosceles triangle, what is true about this length right here?
It's the same. It's 6 centimeters.
It's going to be 6, yeah. So that side right there is 6. So to find Z, I know the, Stacy, would you like to try it? This side right here is what side relative to that angle?
I don't know.
It's the adjacent side.
The one you've been
Right?
saying the whole time.
Yeah, it's right next to the Z, so that way you know that it is the adjacent side. And then this side over here is the what? Hypotenuse. So adjacent and hypotenuse is what? Awesome. So cosine of Z equals 6 over 25. And so that means that to find Z, I have to go inverse cosine of 6 divided by 25, which is what? 76 degrees. Okay?
Did we turn in our review for my class?
Yeah, you turn in the assignment. Okay, so on the back side of that worksheet, now we are using the area formula that we came up with.
No,
that involved sine. Okay, so the area formula that we came up with for this using sine is that the area is 1/2 AB sine of C. Okay, that was an easy one. Shh. Never mind. And then remember that for this, the angle has to be in between the two sides, okay? So let's take a look at this right here. Any ideas?
No, cut it out. Do something.
What'd you say?
Cut it out.
Cut it in half, yeah, it's an isosceles triangle, so we can cut it in half. So that means that this little piece right here is going to be 1. This angle right here is 25 degrees. I know you can't see that, but so I need to figure out what this side is right here in order to be able to use this thing right here. So what trig ratio am I going to use? This side right here, that's 1, is the
Adjacent.
opposite.
Oh, I hate this.
And this side that we'd like to find is the hypotenuse, and so that is sine.
Oh,
so the
'cause you got-
sine of 25 degrees is going to equal the opposite side, which is 1 divided by the hypotenuse, which we don't know. Do I multiply or divide here? Divide. So I'm going to go x equals 1 divided by the sine of 25 degrees, and what do you get for that? Well, you can do this on your calculator now, though, right? Oh, how many of you? Oh, you're giving me answers from when you did it before. Okay, so I'm going to go 1 divided by sine of 25. So that side is, let's go 2.37. Okay? So if that's 2.37, this side over here is also 2.37. So now I can use this formula right here. So my area is going to be 0.5 times 2.37 times 2.37 times the sine of the angle in between them, which is 50.
50. Tree 50.
So 0.5 times 2.37 times 2.37 times sine of 50 gives me an area of 2.15
What did
square
you just do?
centimeters.
Oh my God, let me
Okay.
write this down.
Now, there's another way that you could have done this. If instead of when we cut this in half, you could have found, you could have used tangent to find the adjacent side right here, and then that's the height of this triangle, and then you could have just gone 1/2 the base times the height, and you would have been able to find it that way. Hopefully that's the same answer as we got, okay? Wow. All right, so this next one, number 2, is a rectangle, okay? And so to find the area of this, I need to know this side right here, and I need to know this side right here. So I'm just going to randomly call this A and call that B. Which one do you want to find first?
B.
B, okay? So relative, ready Stacy?
Uh-huh.
Relative to the 28-degree angle. Side
Opposite.
B is good, the opposite. And we already know the hypotenuse, so I'm going to use sine of 28 equals opposite over hypotenuse. Do I multiply or what? Okay, so B
I know
is
it's
equal
not
to, do you have a calculator?
That's broken. It doesn't
Oh,
work.
good.
Yeah.
B is equal to 28 times the sine of 28, which is 28 sine of 28 is 13.15. Okay, so this side right here is 13.15. Now to find A, what ratio am I going to use for that?
I don't know.
Okay, I can use tangent because I know this side now, okay? So the tangent of 28 degrees equals the opposite side, which is 13.15 divided by the adjacent, which is A. What do I do to my numbers that time? Divide, okay, so I'm going to go 13.15 divided by the tangent of 28. So since I already have that 13.15 up there, I'm just going to go divided by tangent 28. And that gives me about 24.72. And then what do I do to find the area? Multiply those two numbers together. So I'm going to go, what's up, Oscar? I'm going to go 13.15 times 24.72. 13.15 times 24.72. So my area is going to be 325 square feet. Okay? And I'm noticing here we didn't read the directions. This is supposed to be to the nearest square unit also. So I guess we're just going to go with 2 there.
Centimeter?
Yeah, 2 square centimeters.
You have to square the feet too.
Thank you. All right, then number 3. Let's get rid of some of this junk here. What kind of shape do I have there?
A kite.
A kite?
Cut in half.
No. A rhombus, yeah. What's
It
the
looks like a
area
kite.
formula for a rhombus? Anybody remember? All right. I guess the main thing here is that we could think about cutting this into
Oh, you're on the eraser. Just kidding, not anymore.
4 little right triangles like that. And if we can find the area of one of the right triangles, then we can just multiply by 4 and we're good to go, right?
This seems hard.
So if this angle is 140 degrees, if I draw that little diagonal
70.
in there, then now it's going to be 70, okay? And so this is 13. So if I think of this as just being a little triangle right here, I need to know this and I need to know this, okay? So you're going to do, we need to know the opposite and the adjacent. So which one do you want to find first?
Opposite.
Okay, so let's find the opposite, which uses sine. So sine of 70 equals the opposite side. I don't want to use 0 there. Let's call it A over 13. So A is going to be 13 sine of 70, which is 13. Nope, I don't want to use that. 13 sine of 70. So that little piece there is about 12.2.
And you just have to add 12?
Okay. Now I'm going to find this little piece right here, right next to that angle. So that's the, what side? What? No, the hypotenuse is the 13 right here. What's this? The adjacent. And so I need to use cosine of 70 equals the adjacent side, which is B, divided by the hypotenuse, which is 13. So multiply again, 13 cosine 70. Gives me about 4.4. Okay? All right, so I know that this thing right here is 12.2. I know that this thing right here is 4.4. And since it's a rhombus, those diagonals are perpendicular to each other. So I can find the area of that triangle by going 1/2 base 4.4 times height, 12.2. And then how many triangles do I have? 4 of them. So if I take that answer and multiply it by 4, then I get 0.5 times 4.4 times 12.2 times 4. I get a total of area of about 107 square inches. And you might get something a little different from that depending on when and how you rounded your answers. Okay? Okay, those are a little tricky.
I don't like it.
Yeah, I don't blame you. Okay, now we're going backwards. So number 4, we are told that the area is 88 square centimeters. Well, what's the formula for the area of the triangle?
1/2 base times
1/2
height.
base times height. I know what the base is, right? What?
It's 16.
The base is 16. I know because they told me what the area is, right?
Yeah.
88. And so that lets me figure out what the height is. What's half of 16? 8. What's 88 divided by 8? 11. So that means the height of this little guy is going to be
Wait, how'd you do that?
11. I just took the area formula for the triangle and plugged in the things that I knew
Yeah.
and solved for the height, okay? So now since I know that height is 11, what's this little piece right here? 8, okay?
Oh,
So if I want to figure out this angle, what trig ratio do I use? What trig ratio can I use to figure that out? I know the opposite and I know the adjacent. So I know the tangent of x equals 11 over 8. But since I'm looking for an angle, what do I have to do? I have to do inverse tangent. And so that is going to be second tangent of 11 divided by 8. So x is going to be about 54 degrees. It's the nearest tenth of a unit. So 50, still going around to 54.2. Okay? All right, same deal for this one over here. If I know that this is 28, what's this? 28. If this is 17, then that means this is also 17. So what trig ratio can I use to find y? Opposite over adjacent, which is tangent. So the tangent of y equals 17 over 28. So y equals the inverse tangent of 17, divided by 28. So second tangent, 17 divided by 28, and that is going to be 31.3 degrees. All right, then this one right here, this looks pretty tricky. To figure this one out, I'm going to draw in this little right triangle right there. And this little right triangle right here is going to be the same as this little right triangle right there. So if I guess I could just put the 72 down there if I wanted to. So I know the hypotenuse. I'm trying to find the opposite side. So that is going to be sine. So the sine of 72 degrees is the opposite side divided by the hypotenuse, which means that A, our missing number, I have to multiply to get. So I'm going to go 8 sine of 72 degrees. So 8 sine 72 equals 7.6 if I round to the nearest 10. So this was 31.3 degrees, and that is inches, and that is centimeters. Okay, that's the end of video 1. I will take this up again in a second, so we'll play the next